part 2 of our click-through video. Here we look at combat coming up on Late to the Game. Welcome back to another edition of Late to the Game. I'm Uplift Baton 6, and we're going to continue with Battletech 101 today. This is part 2 of an essentially every button menu tutorial orientation. I don't know what to call it, but it's one of those things where you're going to see everything that you can see. That's not true. You won't see everything that you can see, but you'll be able to see virtually everything that you can see, and certainly enough to know exactly what's happening as you play through this game. This is part 2. Part 1 shows all of the menus that we're looking at here, including getting to this position in the game, starting a new one from scratch. There was one thing that I didn't show you, and I'm going to show it to you right now, and that is this score, 352 days remaining. Now again, if you're playing through the campaign, you do not see this. Only if you're doing a career do you see this. What I didn't do was click on it, and so here we go. We're going to click on it. What you get is your score breakdown and where it's coming from. So you have I have 352 days remaining. I currently have 97,000 points out of a total 616,012. I would never hit that because of this down here. The total multiplier for all of these difficulty settings, or for the difficulty settings, is that I only get 80% of them. So 20% discount. And that is set up during our menu. When we set up the game, we selected the difficulty the difficulty level by selecting what we wanted to do, whether we wanted to have full mech salvage, 5 mech, so on and so forth. All of that affects your multiplier. And it can go into the positives. It can go into the positives, but I think only by 110%. I don't know off the top of my head. Shows your rank here, your level with the Mercenary Review Board. The Mercenary Review Board is one of the determining factors of how hard a contract you can take. And of course your morale, 30, it goes up to 50. Once you hit 50, you're done. There's nothing you can do there. But there you go. All the different things that you can do in order to score points, you can find when you click on that button right there. All right, so the last thing we did was we did everything except for combat. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you all the things for that. So let's go into contracts. And I'm going to do one, hopefully, that's relatively easy. I don't want to lose in front of you guys, but I also don't want it to be like ridiculously easy either. I have enough mechs to be able to do a 2.5 skull difficulty, but I want to do one that's a little bit easier. So I'm going to do one that's a 2 skull difficulty. And then I can show you this as well. So this is a 2 skull difficulty. As you click on it, of course, this updates. So I've got an ambush convoy that I'm doing here, or maybe I do this one. They're both ambush convoys. Okay, whatever. It shows you what you're going to be doing, what your biome is, and the potential difficulty. Again, this isn't 100% accurate. Sometimes you'll drop in a 2 and find out that it's closer to a 3 or a 4 and get absolutely destroyed. It happens. You can choose to do destroy the base. There's usually some mechs there to destroy, and there's often usually some other things like vehicles or turrets to destroy. And so I think we'll do this one because then I can show you a wider variety of things. Hopefully they pop up, and if they don't, I'll just explain it anyway as we go along. So I'm going to select this one, and it is a destroy the base. It's in the desert. It's a 2 skull difficulty. Has a max of almost 700,000, a max salvage of 419, and a max representation of 10. So if I start to negotiate that, I can go all the way up for cash, or I can take nothing, basically do it for free. If I do that, my reputation with this faction goes way up. It's pretty high. And if I don't, it goes way down. So I can do a perfectly balancing 2 and 11. You know what? I kind of need the money. kind of need the money, but we're doing all right. Again, look, we can go for 5 months without having any income at all, which of course isn't going to happen. So that's not too bad. Maybe we get 2 salvage, and then I can show you that menu as well. So here we go. We'll do that. All right. So my reputation will go up 6 here, and it'll go down 5 here. If I hover over top of it, currently I'm indifferent with this faction. I can go to -19 and still stay indifferent. My current reputation is -2. So I do that, I'm going to end up with -7. We're still good, so we're going to keep that. All right, so we're going to accept that, and then we're going to go off and we're going to accept, or no, we're going to accept it, yes, but we're going to do our loadout here. You'll see that one of my mech warriors is out. He's going to be out for a very long time because my med bays are down to 1. And then, just like in our previous video, we'll drop in our current mechs that we want to take, as well as our mech warriors, and it will remember the last one that you did and just keep it going forward. So in this case, the last one that I did was this lance with a 2.5 rating going up against a 2. This is a high-paying 2, and so I would imagine it's probably going to push a 3, and so we might be in trouble, but we'll see what happens. The other thing I didn't show you was this. And so when you go in and train your mech warriors, they become specialists and they get little names attached to them to kind of give you an idea of how to best use them. I don't know if I've ever done that, frankly. It just helps me remember what they do. Piloting and guts, piloting and gunnery, tactics, and this one's kind of fun. Piloting and gunnery, I love these guys. The piloting and the gunneries are a ton of fun. Anyway, I had to go and buy a new guy, well, hire a new guy, because he was sick and I didn't have enough guys. And so I had to go get him. I dropped him in this Shadowhawk here, kind of to keep him safe, but also because he's got guns, but it's not the end of the world if they miss. Where these guys here, I really want them to hit as much as possible. So that's the way that I've loaded that. Let's do the thing. Oh, I forgot to show you the view details. Oh well. Click on it and you'll see what happens. Your load screen here gives you a brief breakdown of what you already know. Just there for a reminder. And then you get some flavor text down here. There's variety in this, but not a ton. Begin the mission. It's now loaded up and then we'll get dropped in. Here we go. Alright, so we're going to be destroying a base. We're going to start walking through this. So then there's some text to describe what you're going to be doing, and then sometimes it's funny and sometimes it isn't. Yeah, it is what it is. Here we go. Let's do next. So we're going to assault the base, destroy enough of it to force these guys to abandon the location. Essentially, you're just going to destroy buildings. Expect strong opposition. Okay, it's a good thing that we planned for 2.5. Let's get it done. All right, first thing that happens, let's walk through it top to bottom, left to right. First thing you're going to see is your turn. So it says your turn here. When it's not your turn, it'll say enemy's turn, and then the round tracker happens underneath of that. Some missions you'll have a time limit to do it in, so you want to keep an eye on that. If that happens, this isn't a time mission, so it really doesn't matter. Keep going across here, you'll see these little pluses across here, and they match the pluses here. Let's go down and then we'll go across. So here we go down. Destroy the facility. You'll see that it's got a pulsing plus when I hover over top of it, and it has 0 of 4. Then underneath there is a smaller one. This is your primary mission, and these are optional. You do not have to complete these in order for the mission to be successful. If you do, you get a bonus. It's 0%, 0, 4. If I click on these little plus, it will take me to where that particular thing is located on the map. So you'll see all these pluses here. Those are the things that you can attack in a building, things that you can destroy. You don't necessarily have to destroy them all. In this case we do, so it's 0, 4, and there's only 4 things. So we are going to have to do that. When you click on it, it actually takes you right to this section here. If somebody enters the battlefield, it will show up over here and you can click on the plus and it will take you back. So we have a garrison. It's not showing what that garrison is. We just have to guess. It'll be mechs, maybe even some turrets. Continuing across, we have this option to withdraw. Sometimes you have to withdraw. In fact, I just recently earned a collector's card in Steam because I withdrew 10 times. It's a thing. Sometimes the dice do not go in your favor, and you just have to get out of there, especially if you're going to start losing mechs too much, or there's no hope, or the repair bill is going to be too big. Withdrawing is definitely an option for you. And then there is this little, I don't know what to call it, disclosure thing. When you click it, GUI goes away. And sadly, it's gone. You can't get it back. Oh no, what are you going to do? Well, it's easy. Just click on a mech and you're back. And then the hamburger over here, you can exit the game. It'll save and remember where you are. It is an Iron Man save. You don't get to save and make a mistake and go back and load again. It's one save, that's it. You make a mistake, you live with it. Done like dinner. Okay, let's continue working down, and let's work down from the left before we get into all of this garbage in the middle. This here is your initiative. I forgot the word for a minute, but that's your initiative. When we get into combat, I'll walk you through that. This is your biome. It's a desert. Underneath here is all of the stuff for that particular mech that you've selected. So you have your mech warrior, Splinter, and then you have your mech. You see the mech warrior, Splinter, the type of mech it is, your logo, and then this little button right there is fantastic. That is your eject. You eject that, your mech warrior is saved, the head of the mech is destroyed and therefore removed from the game. If you complete the mission, you get the mech back. These guys can only take so much damage before they die or become incapacitated and potentially die. And if you spent a lot of time building up like a 10th level dude, you might want to eject him before the game ends or before your mission ends, if it's not going well. Next to that, you have your total damage represented here. 416 system points or internals and 1000 armor. That's cumulative. You can tell which different region of your mech has as much armor as it does by hovering over top of it. The head has 16 system points and 45 pieces of armor. The right torso has 60 internal, 120 armor. Damage always comes off the armor first, except for some weapons that also do internal damage, like a Gauss cannon. They do exist. Same thing over here, right arm, 40 and 80. Center torso, 80, 160. When the center torso is gone, so are you. When the head is gone, so are you. Well, that mech is. If all the mechs are gone, then you fail the mission. And then, of course, your rear armor here. Also shows you the size of the mech in case you forget. It's a medium. Then we work across, and the next thing we come across is this, Resolve. This is a lance pool of points. Every turn you will gain Resolve. If you have very high morale, it'll gain faster. If you end up destroying mechs in a turn, that will grow faster. But it increases the bonus to accuracy for all attacks, and you can also spend Resolve on some of your special abilities, particularly things like Precision Strike or Vigilance. Depending on how you've built out your mech warriors, these will change. I'll walk you through those next because we're coming up to them. These are all of your mech warriors. Underneath those are the abilities that your mech warrior has. Everybody can shoot, everybody can move, everybody can sprint, and if your mech has jump jets, it can jump. The rest of these, they vary depending on level and skill choices that you have for that particular mech warrior. And then brace. And if you've moved and shot and you don't have a brace option, it's just end your turn will appear down there. Your mech warriors have these little dashes underneath of them. That represents how much injuries you can take. So right now, we've taken no injuries and we can take 4. Mando can take 3. That's my character. Again, he doesn't die, but it takes forever for him to heal. He can take 3 and he can take 4. Continue across, you see the weapons loadout for that particular mech that you're in this case 2 LRM-15s. The little dot means that they're currently active, so if I shoot at something, both of them will fire, and then underneath of that is melee. Melee is awesome if you're generating a ton of heat, because it doesn't generate any. It also does a lot of damage, but you do have to be standing, fisticuffs right in front of them. All right, now you have the whole interface ready to go. Let's take a look at the center screen. These little dots that appear on the screen tell you where you can move to. It depends on how fast you go. Sprint is full out, move is just walking. And you see I can't go nearly as far when I walk as when I sprint. If I hover over top of one of these areas that has an odd color, you'll see that the information above it changes. So I'm sprinting, but underneath of that is a little tree icon. That means that I'm in the forest. Forest gives you cover, and it also reduces damage. Next to that are all of those little arrows. Well, they're not actually little, they're fairly large, and there's a lot of them. Those are called evasion pips. The higher number of evasion pips you have, the harder it is for you to be hit. So imagine that you're trying to hit a moving target. That's the idea there. All right, so that is that. These little buildings here, just so that you know, you can step on them, nothing happens. Sometimes they will explode. You can explode things next to a mech and do damage to them. It's kind of cool. But in the meantime, we're just going to move through these and hopefully we'll get into some action. Oh, what I did forget to do though was show you if you click on these, it'll center on that mech. If you remember from our settings, we told it to do that. You can turn that off if you want. Regardless, you can always double click on it and it will center it. So single click or double click if you didn't set that up. All right, let's go back to Mando here, our mech warrior. All right, what you see above him is basically all of this information here just above the mech. You'll also see these little circles moving around and everything like that. They will change depending on what you're doing. It's really just to let you know, hey, that's the mech that I have. When it comes time to move, you can move wherever these dots are. And again, if you step on terrain, it'll tell you what it is. Pay attention to it because there's bonuses. Now we have to get over here, and there's probably going to be mechs in our way, and I don't want to take unnecessary damage, and I do worry that it's going to be pretty nasty. So I want to be a little bit careful to start out. I want to move as far as I can to get as many evasion pips as I can, and then I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to click again once I've decided where I want this to face. You see that little arrow here? That's your facing. Facing is very important in this game. You can change a facing if you have a lot of movement left. So if I were to move here, for example, I can change where I want to look significantly more dramatically than if I'm up here, and I can only move that far. In this case, everything's over here, so I'm okay with doing that. You can hit any target within this arc. That's what that means. So I'm going to move there. So the first click says move to this point, and the second click says face this way once you get there. So here we go. Face this way when we get there. Great. So our next person is Splinter. Splinter has LRMs. LRMs are best used at range, and so I'm just going to plop Splinter there and in cover, and we'll go from there. You'll notice here that Osprey has the ability to jump. They can move, they can jump, or sprint, or they can jump. Sometimes you can jump further than you can move, and sometimes even further than you can sprint, believe it or not. But usually it's you can't move that's a shortest distance, medium distance, longest distance. Sometimes this will go off. Jumping has a lot of advantages over simply moving. So if I move, you see I can reach that point there. If I jump, I can also reach that point there, If I sprint, I can go much further. I want to point out the evasion pips. So if I run there, I've got all those evasion pips, 5 of them. If I jump, I've got 3. If I walk, I've got 2. So jumping gives you extra evasion pips. Pimps? Oi, this is a family show. Evasion pips. And so we are actually going to do that. I'm going to jump right there. That actually looks like a great place to land. So I'm going to jump there. The other advantage that you get is you can rotate anywhere you want. You can torso twist any direction. And since the bad guys are coming from there, we're going to do that. So there we go. And then I'm going to repeat this procedure until something happens. So I'm going to just let this go until something happens, and then we'll jump back into it. All right, so we have enemy contact. What do we have enemy contact with? We have a turret. Okay, so I kind of jumped a little bit further ahead than I should have, but fortunately I have another thing to show you. So we have a turret here. The fact that we can see it is both good and bad. If we can see it, it can see us. It also means it's within scanning range, but you'll notice that there's also this icon here. It also is a turret, but we don't know what it is yet. It's outside of our scanning range. Another vehicle might be able to scan further and therefore see it. It might be able to do a sensor lock, in which case it'll reveal it and you'll get bonuses. But for now, I don't know what it is because it's outside of my sensor range. But I know it's a turret of some kind. There's 2 other ways that this will appear. It'll either appear as a vehicle, which is like a little tank on the ground, or it'll appear as a mech, in which case it's the blocky mech, not dissimilar to this here, and it just says unknown mech. Sometimes it'll tell you the tonnage. It'll depend on what your sensors are like. But in the meantime, this is an enemy. I can see it. It can see me. And we don't have initiative for that yet, thankfully. All right, let's continue on until something happens. Okay, there we go. Something's happening. All right, so there we go. So when you sprint, you can't shoot. That's one of the reasons why this guy couldn't do anything. But now that I can see him, we have an opportunity to shoot at him. But if I sprint, I can't shoot. If I jump, I can land and shoot. If I move, I can land and shoot. In this case, because this is fairly long range, an AC-10, I think we're in medium range. I'm going to just click here once and then hover over top of it to see if I can hit it with anything. So when I hover over top of a target, and you look down at my loadout screen, let's move up here to see it better. Suddenly I have options. I can hit it with my AC-10, it's in range, but I can't hit it with my medium laser. So if I were to just fire at that thing, I would be able to hit it with my AC-10, but not my medium laser. The medium laser wouldn't even fire. Looking across that, you'll see ammo 16. That means I got 16 shots with it, so it's limited. It does a lot of damage though, 60 points, and the percent chance to hit is 85. 85% chance to hit means you're hitting 85% of the time, right? Not necessarily. Sometimes the game kind of stacks against you. I spend some time on message boards and stuff, and they're like, oh no, it's random, it's random. But it is not random. Because a lot of times, if you've got 2 things firing, and it happens a ton, I had thought about tracking it once. If anything misses, it's your big gun. So your AC-10, I might fire and it'll miss, and my laser might only have like a 50% chance to hit, and it'll hit. And that happens a spectacular amount of times. It seems to be disproportionate. I haven't kept track of it yet, but it really does seem to do that. In addition, if you score a headshot or you get a headshot against you, there will be many headshots. So it's something to be especially aware of when you are playing these missions. There's a pro tip for you. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do with this Shadowhawk here is I'm going to actually just position it in such a way that when we do get that combat interface, which will happen at the end of this turn, I can show you what I want to show you and maybe even hit it. All right, so now we're getting shot at probably by a mech, maybe a vehicle, it could be a turret, but we're getting at, oh yeah, there it is, it's a mech. All right, so now our interface changed. Now we have this up here. This is our initiative order. Initiative order is kind of backwards, and it's weird how it works. But the idea is that it's more advantageous to act last than first. And so it begins with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you can see here that I'll be doing all my actions before these guys do anything. Now I think that's backwards, and I'll tell you why. Because I can hit and do damage and remove a mech before they have a chance to act. But for some reason, reserving improves you in the initiative order, and that's the thing. Now if you have mechs going here, enemy mechs, it'll show you where they fall. So you will be able to move a mech, and then they'll be able to move a mech. You might be able to act twice if you do a smart reserve. Right now it really doesn't matter too much. We have two things that can shoot at us. That thing and that thing. And so that's really it. And you can see that because of that. Those two little pips there. Two enemies, they're going to act on turn phase 1. All of my guys are going to act in phase 3. But what I do want to do is I want to right click on this thing. If I right click, it'll tell me, essentially give me the same breakdown that I would get if it were a mech. So it's got 90 armor, 7 internal, not much for the internals, but it's got all these AC2s. That's nasty. They don't do a ton of damage. They have a long range, and if they all hit, and they all hit the same spot, man alive, it's brutal. It also says here, weak against melee, but you can't really do that with it because it's up high. There you go. So this thing's kind of brutal. I kind of want to take it out, but I can do 120 points of damage. That's more than enough to take it out. And I want to know what that thing is. Down here we now have more options. We can shoot at multiple targets. If we have multiple weapons, we can shoot at multiple targets. We can shoot at one target for each weapon that we have. If we have 12 weapons, we can shoot at 12 targets. As far as I know, there's no penalty for it. But of course you can only fire X number of weapons at it. Then we get into things that are even more specific to our thing and our passive. So these are active, and then we have passive. Ace Pilot. Ace Pilot means that you can shoot and then move. And I like that idea. So we're going to do that. We're going to shoot and then move. I want to shoot at that thing. So we're going to click on the attack. Then we're going to click up here. And then we're going to fire, and all 4 lasers are going to hit.
All weapons committed.
And it's going to die. And we wait for the animation to finish. Okay, now I can either reveal that, but I'm not going to, or I can reveal this, and I want to. So I'm going to move here and see what it is. Okay. And here's the rest of our guys. And now we end up getting in trouble. All right. So now we've got some more things to look at here. I'm going to select Mando and point out a few things to you. So you see their heads-up display here has some activity on it. This is your heat bar. If you get too much heat, you'll do damage to yourself. If you get full heat, you can damage yourself and you will shut down your mech. Everything up to this point is fine. Past the red, now you're in danger zone. Right now we've got a tiny little bit of heat, so we're okay. Underneath of that, this is your stability. In other words, have you been hit enough times that you're ready to be to fall over? Energy weapons do not do stability, but missiles and ballistic weapons do. And this will grow and grow and grow until you get up here, and then you have a chance of falling over. If you fall over, you have to take an entire action to get back up again. While you're laying down, every shot against you is a called shot. So there's a lot of disadvantages to being on the ground. You want to stay on your feet as much as possible. Alright, so those are those. Let's move on to a mech that hasn't done anything yet. Let's use Splinter. Alright, Splinter is also a ace pilot and 2 LRM-15s. Long-range missiles are much more accurate at range, and we're pretty close. But we're just going to launch a whole bunch of things at him, see what happens. Only 40%. Look at all those evasion pips. That's a problem. We can't hit him because we can't see him. But we can shoot till the cows come home at this guy, so we're going to. I'm going to fire at him. And as we do, those evasion pips will go down. Look at that. He lost an evasion pip. And then we're going to move. And I want to keep at range. And so I'm just going to move here and hope he doesn't take a shot at me. Because the next thing I want to point out to you are the firing arcs. Now you might be wondering, hey, how can he shoot me? How can he shoot me but I can't shoot him? He might have longer range sensors on him for one. He probably does. And so he can take shots at me before I can see him. That's why that happens. Alright, and now we have Osprey. Now, what happens when we move here? You see this line, this kind of purple magenta line that's popped up there. That means that I can see him. If I go behind this rock... Oh, there we go. If I go behind this rock here, you'll see that it's interrupted and we have this little eye icon here. That means that I can see him, but it's behind cover. I have cover and he has cover. And there's a penalty for that. I can go here, which I definitely want to do, to try and stay away from the other mechs and still hit him. So I'm going to do that. And when I move there, I want to draw your attention to this little circle here. These represent the different arcs that you can hit. This part here has a little bump sticking out of it there. That means it's the front arc. It's the biggest one, but it's the front arc. If I click on that, everything here is glowing. That means that all of those components there are possible targets for my weapons to hit. If I attack from this side, I will go in on that arc, this side, that arc, or back here, I'll go in on the back arc. And this will highlight depending on where you are. So I'm shooting into the front arc. That's okay, that's what I want to do. And can I actually hit you with anything? Oh, 30% chance. I'm not even going to take that chance. We're just going to guard and reserve. Or guard, I should say. Alright. Let's see if we can actually do something with you. You've got a medium laser. You're still only 40% chance to hit, but we're going to do it. And we're not going to fire AC-20. You'll see that we're still going in on the front arc. I'm going to click on it once. And now I'm going to show you this. So you can pull up this information anytime by right-clicking on any mech, and it will pull this information up for you. How much armor? Cumulative. How many systems? Cumulative. And if I hover over top, I can see the breakdown of how much armor and system is available on that particular location. And this is a problem. 4 medium lasers. That's insane. Now the good news is you probably won't fire all 4 because it will generate a ton of heat, but that's a whole lot of hurt. So we want to deal with this guy as soon as possible. And we know that he can hit us because we can hit him. Let's shoot and see what happens. Oh, we got him. Okay, there we go. And so now, when that turn is finished, oh, they've got LRMs back there. Probably LRM-5s, I would imagine. Alright, so now we've got all this stuff happening to us. Sometimes you can't see what all of it is. This is the way it is. Boy, there's a ton of them. Okay. We're going to have to play this a lot smarter. Oh, and he jumped. More evasion. And you'll see he's starting to chew through us here. So this is going to be a lot harder than a 2-pointer. Already I can tell that. So this is probably closer to a 4-pointer. maybe not a 4, definitely a 3. So if I right click on this, you'll see here that this is now orange. That means it's gone internal. Right? So there's only 23 left. I could end up actually destroying one of these lasers. And if I can stay on that right arc, that's going to do some significant damage. So let's take Mando, since apparently everything can hit him. I want to try and stay away from that guy as much as possible. These are long lasers, so let's just pull back here. 80%, I like that. All right, so we're going to turn down here. We're going to face this way. And then you'll see these other options have now popped up. One of them is Precision Strike. If I use Precision Strike, it will take some of my resolve. But I really want to do some damage to that guy. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Precision Strike, and I'm going to click on him, and now I get a new menu. So now I get to choose which region of the mech I would like to try and hit. If I hover over top of this, it'll show me what my chances are to hit that location. So in this case, right arm, I have a 40% chance of hitting that right arm. A 1% chance to hit the head, 12 for the other torso, so on and so forth. If I go there, I have a 50% chance of hitting that right torso. 40%, 50%. If I want to try and hit the head, you'll see it goes up to 5%. If I hit the head and destroy it, it's out. Center torso, it's out. Now something else to take note of is that if I do hit this arm, and let's see how much it takes. Oh, it's only got 23 left. So I hit with even just one laser shot, that arm's gone. But that doesn't mean that the other weapons can't hit that arm anymore. I mean, it does, it can't hit that arm. But it means that all the damage transfers in. So damage transfers from the outside in. So if I hit with all 3 lasers on that arm, the first points of damage will destroy that arm, and then it'll move there. And when that's gone, it'll move here. And so simply removing components increases your chance of getting to that center torso, even if you don't actually aim for it. So I want to try and take this out. So, and additionally, if I destroy that left torso and that arm is still full, the arm falls off. So you can kind of cheat it out a little bit. Now there's a lot of damage. 40, 80, oh, maybe we do that one, 50%. Maybe we do that. There might even be some lasers on there. There's jump jets on it. So you know what? We're actually going to do that. We're going to actually hit that torso, because if I hit with even 2 of them, yeah, I have a 50% chance of hitting at least one location there. Let's fire and see what happens.
All weapons committed.
One hit it. Oh, a head hit. Oh boy. Okay. Remember what I said at the beginning?
Enemy mech.
You get a head hit, there's going to be a lot of them. So now I have to make sure that I protect my mechs, because there will be head hits. Yep, head hit. There you go. That's what I mean. Also, this thing is huge. And it's full. So this is actually a 4-point mission. And we're in real trouble. So let's try and be a little bit smart about it. And see if we can take out this big, huge dude. Because he's got, I mean, those medium lasers and long lasers, that's 3 lasers coming at us. So I am going to actually, because I'm not facing the right way, I'm going to actually move here. And then we'll see if we can nail this guy here. Alright, here we go. I'll just keep going on this until something happens, and then or something changes that we need to click on.
Awaiting orders.
Alright, something has changed, so I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not going to actually do the thing. So you'll notice that this mech here now has this yellow box around it. That means that I can engage it in a melee attack. So if I were to click on that, I would then move into a melee attack, and you can see down at the bottom under my loadout screen that melee is available. It does 85 points of damage and has a 95% chance to hit. Now I'm not going to do that because of the back arc situation. Those guys will be able to get in behind me and do some serious damage, so I'm not going to do it. But I do want to note for you that you can see these little circles. It goes away because I do that, but you see it there. If I were to do a melee attack, the first thing I would do is click on it, and then I would decide where I want to attack from. In this case, if I were to do it, I'd want to do it from this position here for obvious reasons, because then it's harder for those guys to get in behind me. But to do the melee attack, I would click there and then click where I want it to come from and attack. So those options don't always become available. The train doesn't often let you do it. And also you might not have enough movement to be able to do it. But I'm not going to do it no matter what because of that back arc problem. So I want to try and find a place where I can go. Man alive, we're in serious trouble. Spread out all over the creation here. Okay, so 55 and 60, 40, 30, 70. Okay, let's pull out our big gun and hopefully it hits. Now I could do multiple targets, but I want to do as much damage to one target as possible. So here we go. Yep. We might actually have to abort this mission.
Enemy sensor lock detected.
Oh, smokers. Yeah, we're in real trouble. At this point, I would probably be best to just withdraw. If I can drop one of these guys, we'll be in an okay position. There we go. Okay. Thank goodness. Okay, so I'm going to stop you there. Sometimes the game does not behave properly sometimes. It's very stable. But you'll notice when I was trying to move this mech, I moved him here because I could still see this guy. And I wanted to see if I could get a headshot on him because you've seen now we've had 2 headshots. 3 headshots so far, so we're going to get more. And I wanted to see if I could take him out with a headshot. Instead, I'm going to see if I could take out this guy here with a headshot. Oh, he's so far away. I wouldn't have done that if it was going to work. So if I do an aimed shot, first of all I have to hit with a 60% chance, and then I have to hit with a 5% chance to hit the head, which isn't great. And it's going to take away all my resolve. But I really need to drop some of these guys. So I'm going to do it, and then we'll just hope that our headshot hits. Okay, so everything hit at least. But sadly, as per usual, they'll get hits and we won't. See, there you go. Big one misses, little one hits. It's classic.
What can I do for you? On my way.
Alright, so now you're going to see the overheat alert. You'll see that my heat is over top. At the end of the turn that'll take effect, and I might take some internal damage, but I need to do damage to these guys, so we're going to fire. I've got really high chances of hitting, so we're just going to do it. And I did. I took 5 points to 3 different areas. Alright, so you saw the pilot fall down. Now every attack against him is going to be a called shot, which is extremely advantageous for us. But in addition to that, I want to show you one more thing when I get a chance to take control of the battlefield. Here we go. This leg is gone. You could still get up and walk around. If both legs are gone, the mech is removed from battle, and you get to keep a lot more of the mech. The center torso is gone. That's called coring. You get to keep the mech, but you only get pieces of it. I think one. And then the headshot, of course. If the head is gone, the pilot's gone. And that's where you keep the most part of the mech.
Standing by.
I kind of want to show you guys a melee attack here now that I've got some options available, but I really need to get rid of that guy, and so we're just going to do this, and hopefully we can
Targeted for an
get rid of that. Nope, but we're close.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, we will maybe melee this guy. No, we can't get in behind him. So instead, we will do this
Affirmative.
and take another shot at him. See if we can get rid of that. They might be saying, "Hey, why don't you get the head?" Well, we've had a lot of headshots, and so it's very possible that it will go. So let's do it.
Roger that.
No, see the miss? Beautiful. Big gun misses, little one hits. Classic.
What can I do for you?
That's what happens.
Affirmative.
I really want to get rid of this guy. Okay, so that's going to cost us.
Standing by.
Thank goodness all the weapons stayed on. So if a part is destroyed, obviously the weapons attached to it are also removed from battle. There we go. All right. This is going to be a very expensive. We're going to spend probably about 250,000 repairing our mechs.
Receiving you.
Okay, so this time I might actually attack him. Let's do it. So you'll notice I didn't get any place to position myself, and the reason why is that I didn't have enough movement to do it. If I had enough movement, I could have picked where to go, but this actually worked in my favor, so let's attack. See what happens.
Locked on for physical attack.
There we go. Alright. You'll notice my heat dropped completely to nothing.
Waiting on you.
And we're just going to go here. And we'll start mowing through you. And we're just going to have to stay on that side. Oh boy! I forgot about that turret back there. That was a mistake. Alright, so you may have seen that message that said pilot incapacitated. Even though I didn't do enough damage to it to the mech to remove the mech, the pilot took enough damage to go unconscious, and that removes it from battle as well.
Waiting for orders.
A bit of a pickle because I want to hit from this side, but I'll open myself up to that turret, so I don't want to do that.
Position.
Sorry about that, guys. Computer must be processing some video in the back end. I do some video editing and I've got it doing some rendering, so notice those little stutters. It's probably that. Yeah, this is definitely not a 2-point mission. This is not a 2-point mission. This is quite brutal. 120. We do this, we're largely done. He's now almost completely useless, only 2 more shots left.
I hear you.
And he's only got 4 shots left. In fact, I'm actually going to pull him away over here and face him this way.
Betcha.
What? Oh no, I didn't see that. I should have known.
With internal.
Exceeding recommended level.
Alright, so now we have a choice. First of all, we're going to see where our evac zone is. Oh, of course, it's way over there. Which means we have to go right past these guys. So our choice is made for us.
Ready for orders.
We are going to have to fight our way through. Alright, here we go. Please be little guys. Oh, and they're not, they're huge. This guy's insane. Alright, well. Let's precision strike and see if we can find a place to drop him. Oh no, snapshot, we can't lose you. So this might be one of those instances when we eject a pilot. Let's see what we do here. Nope, 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 not you, not you. You.
All weapons committed.
There we go.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected. Warning. Heat exceeding recommended level.
All right, well, that was definitely not a 2-point battle. The fact that they haven't come and got me immediately means that there's probably another one coming. That is going to cost us probably close to $600,000 and we'll make absolutely nothing off of this. All right, so now we're going to see some more menus that we haven't seen yet. Let's take a look at them. Okay, so the first one is that we got ripped off 100%. Contract increased by 25 and 10%. That means we got paid $500,000. It's going to cost us about $600 to replace all of our missed stuff. But that is okay. So here it tells us that we did the thing, and if we got more, that it was complete, and our max payout. You saw we went up a little bit with the mercenary board, and man, that was brutal. Okay, well, here we go. Everybody survived, but boy, are we 360 days. That's an entire year. 160 days, 120 days. That means we are not going to be seeing any action for a very long time. Let's go next. All right. So now we get to pick. So we said that we wanted to have 2 items that we would be able to pick, and then they would assign us some more. And so we are going to take the things that we want. Now, a hunchback, it tells us how many we have, 2 of 3. So if we take this, we've got 3. That'll give us a new hunchback. So we definitely want that. And then we have this trebuchet. Trebuchets are missile boats, and we love missile boats. We're going to take that, and that'll confirm another one there. Oh man, another Wolverine. Okay, anyway, we're going to confirm that and see what else they give us. Okay, so they didn't give us what we'd hoped for, but that's okay. So now we're going to complete that, and now you've done the thing. Now I would like to do one more thing for you guys, more tutorial-y than anything else. And I mean, the whole thing is a tutorial, but I want to show you guys what happens when you have problems with mechs. Also, we just got this new one. Fantastic. He's going to tell us we got this thing and what it does. Same thing here. And he's going to say, we're going to need some mech repairs. You don't say. Problem. All right, so we don't have enough room for all of these things. What are you? You are probably not necessary right now. What are you? I kind of like that. All right, so we've got a lot of things that are kind of duplicates. In fact, that is a duplicate CN9A. Let's send you to storage. Okay, so as already mentioned that these guys are out, so we're done. I mean, 360 days, that's an entire year. She's not coming back anytime soon. So we might even just can her, but you know, she's a beefy thing. So let's let's go to barracks, and then let's take a look at see how we're actually doing. All right, so Splinter, you're going to be out for 120 days. You got 7,500 experience points. We're going to spend that there, confirm that. Snapshot, you got 5,500. Still not quite where we want, so we're just going to let you go. Osprey, you got 4,000. So now we're going to start to specialize this guy. We like gunnery and we like piloting, so we're going to take that. And we're going to confirm it. And we're going to leave that there so that he grows. Mando, you've got a lot, so we are going to bump you up all the way to that. And it's a good thing we had our guts improved there. Or I mean our tactics. We're going to put some guts in him just because we need it. Good night of living. And we'll confirm that. And then buyout or buyout. We'll leave that there. Okay. So there we go. We've really only got one available mech warrior. Everybody else is wounded and injured. So we're going to be resting for a while. Then we're going to go to our mech bay. And we're going to spend all that money that we just made on our mechs. So we can repair and refit. Now you'll notice that this guy has everything intact. So his armor gets replaced for free, and he's only got some system damage, nothing lost. So we can just repair him. Essentially 13,000. There's nothing on him, and there's nothing on him, so we'll have to equip him. But this guy, we have a problem. We can repair him, but we're not going to get that arm back. Oh, actually we might. We repair 11. Oh, yeah, see, 100 and whatever. Ouchite. And then we come here, and we definitely need to refit this thing. We cannot repair it. The head is gone. So 19, 100, 151. So we're not at 600,000, but boy, did it ever take a ton. And we need an AC-20, which we don't have. So let's go to the store and see if they have any AC-20s. They do. We'll buy that. And now we're hooped. Repair, 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 and repair. And 200,000. So yeah, it's almost $400,000. Confirm. There we go. Almost all of our money is gone. So that cost us as much as it did to heal up. Now, if we go to ship upgrades, I just want to show you this really quick. I started a ship upgrade for beta pods. It looks like it was completed. And now I can build this new medical bay. It's extremely expensive, but it will give us a lot better health access. Now we have only 2 months, and we will probably end the game at that point. This whole game that I've been playing, now I'm just doing it to show you, but as a side note, the number of headshots that I've taken in this game, the number of times that I've landed a 2-point mission and it's been 3 or 4, has just been outlandish, and it's been punishing. So I will probably actually fail at this point in time. I won't even get these guys back because we're going to have our financial report. I've only 2 months left, and I won't even have any of my mech warriors done by then, which means I'm going to be having to go to my pool and hire 3 more mech warriors, and that will probably drain us. In fact, let's do it just to see what happens. Can I afford to get these 3-pointers? 36, one-time fee of 50. We'll hire. I need 2 more. Hire. I need another one. Accept. And now we've only got 1 month's worth of living expenses left. If I go back to the Argo, you'll see that I'm almost done. In fact, if I take a look at my finances, I have 800,000 left, and I have 226,000 there and 200 there, so that's essentially $400,000. That's all we got. So essentially what that means, in order to save this, I have to do another contract with very baby mech warriors, and all I've got are 2, likely 3s. I can do this one, bump it up, and maybe recover a little bit of money. But there's a little bit of a tip for you. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it is what it is. What are you going to do? So anyway, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. That's part 2 of 2. Now you've seen everything you can do. And I hope that that does 2 things. First of all, sets you up for success most of the time. And number 2, encourages you to buy it. If you haven't gotten it, run out and get it. Of course, you can get it on Game Pass for free. Well, if you have Game Pass, you can get the basic level for free. Head on over to Steam, get the whole thing. It's a ton of fun, well worth your time. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you on the flip side.